welcome to Hack the File. I'm Michael Lopez, and today we're going to be doing um, the new book I just bought called Linux Basics for Hackers by Occupy the Web. Enjoy. All right, so this is going to be a new series, new videos on this book. Now, so I don't know if you know, but Occupy the Web, I think, is a hacker, and I saw him on YouTube talking to another YouTuber that I follow. That's really cool. I can't remember his name. I can look it up really quick. Um, let's see what his channel is. David Bomble. So David Bomble's got all kinds of cool stuff, and he interviews a lot of cool hackers and people, and industry leaders and thought leaders and all that stuff in cybersecurity. And he had, I think, Occupy the Web. I think this is what his name is. I'm not sure, but he had him on there, and this is his book. Okay, and his other book is Getting Started Becoming a Master Hacker. So I'm going to do both of these. Okay, and the reason is because um, he was going through like how to become a hacker, right? And he was saying all his stuff that he recommended, and basically it's what this channel is doing. So what my channel does. So he said that he recommends first of all, learning Linux basics and Kali Linux, and learning your networking, learning he recommended like CompTIA networking certifications and all that, but that's fine. Go ahead and get all those too. But or if you have like an IT degree already, I'm sure you know about networking. So basically, he was going through saying that you had to have all your basics, your foundations in like networking, learn some cybersecurity concepts and stuff like that. And if you're getting into cybersecurity, okay, and you don't have your degree, right? You don't have a degree in cybersecurity, you don't have a degree in IT and all that, then yeah, take your CompTIA, um, cybersecurity, CompTIA, whatever it is, Security Plus. Take your networking, take your basic CompTIA hardware one. I can't remember what it's called, A plus. That's what he was basically saying. You know, learn as much as you can about the basics first, right? And then after you get all that or whatever, then read his Linux Basics for Hackers. Learn Linux, right? You have to learn Linux. And he was saying that you're not a hacker unless you learn Linux, and I agree. I think that there's a lot of stuff, because you have to realize that uh, a lot of servers um, are Linux based, right? For a reason, because Linux runs great, and all that stuff on servers and stuff for servers, serves a purpose. So and it's free, so a lot of companies, where everybody's using Linux servers, right? Using Linux based servers. And so how are you going to hack all that stuff if you don't know how to make your way through a server, a Linux server? It's just common sense right there, right? Also, um, um, what else he was saying? Well, yeah, programming too. So we go through a lot of books programming, or we do a lot of programming little scripts and stuff through books. And he was saying Python, right? And we do a lot of Python on my channel. Um, what else? And how to become a master hacker. So you have to go through all your basics, And then, he was saying you have to know something about VMware. You have to know how to set up VMs. Well, that's what we do on this channel too. Actually, that's what we're going to do right now. That's what we're going to follow this book. Is we're setting up VMs so we can run all this exercises from these books on them, right? So you gotta. Basically, he was saying uh, all that stuff. So we're gonna start by doing his Linux basics for hackers. And since I already have a virtual machine set up, we're gonna set up another. Um, um, I think he has a setup first. Um, a and we're gonna read all. We're gonna skim through all that. I think he has a setup for. Okay, so we already have this set up, VirtualBox. I think he's gonna set up another virtual machine right here, and we're gonna set up another virtual machine. Um, so we're gonna do that. We've already got Kali Linux. I've already got a box. I might set up another box, but I might not because I already have a Kali Linux box, and I want to keep that one and have all my tools on that from everything. But we might. I don't know. This one, we'll see if this one's different, right? So we'll do that today in this video, and then we'll go a little bit into, his next after he set it up, like his first thing, right? Getting started with the basics. So he's gonna, I'm gonna be learning, right? This is why I'm doing this. Actually, is for me and you, right? I want to learn, even though I'm learning it again. I want to learn it again and again and again, repetitive. I want it drilled into my brain, right? Because the more I do it, the more just like muscle memory. It's like martial arts. So, and it kind of is like a martial art, right? You're able to hack into systems. You're able to understand how to do things. It's some ninja stuff, right? It really is. So, the more and more I do it, more and more I do it, and we do it together, or you do it, the better we're gonna be, right? So we're going to run through all this stuff. And I did an interview and I couldn't remember this PWD. And you know what's funny about that? What's not funny about that is that I should have remembered how to find my directory. It's PWD, right? To find where I'm at. And that's just ridiculous that I didn't know that. That means that I haven't used it, or at the time I hadn't used it. This was a couple years ago. I hadn't used it enough or used Linux enough to have that part of my brain just out of nowhere, a muscle memory. So we're gonna go to the cover, right? We're gonna do the cover like we always do. So Linux basics for hackers, getting started with networking, scripting, and security in Kali. Occupy the Web. Look, that's him right there. By Occupy the Web. And this is going to go through all that stuff about the author. Let's read about the author real quick. Occupy the Web, OTW, is the pseudonym for the founder and the primary writer for the hacker and pen tester training website, hackersarise.com. So, we always click on that. Oh, yeah, I remember this. Okay, so this is, yeah, because it's on Occupy the Web too. See, I have this starter ring, so yeah. Go to here. This thing's awesome. And this is his Stop Putin Now. Awesome. So check that out. He is a former college professor and has 20 years of experience in the information technology industry. See? He has trained hackers throughout the U.S., including branches of the U.S. military, Air Force, and Navy, and the U.S. intelligence community. About the technical reviewer. Alright, we're going to skip all that. That's all we need to know about that guy. He's a complete badass. Okay. This book cannot have been written without the collaboration of several key people. First, I want to thank and acknowledge Liz Chadwick. All right, we'll do that. Okay, we'll do a quick skim of the introduction, right? Because if you're getting into cybersecurity or hacking or whatever, pen testing and ethical hacking or whatever the heck you want to do, um, you've read all this before. You know all this, right? So we're just gonna skim it. Hacking is the most important skill of the 21st century. I don't believe this. Yeah. So this statement right here is his. I guess he was really emphasizing this statement because it's true, right? Hacking is the most important skill of the 21st century. It really is, because with all the cybersecurity vulnerabilities that we have, you can only imagine. Okay, so like let's say um, bank robbers when they first started robbing banks. Okay, they didn't have much security, right? So you can go in, rob a bank, come out with a lot of money. It was a vulnerability. They had a vulnerability. They had a need to up security. So then they started putting security guards, armed security guards and stuff like that. Then when that wasn't enough, then they started adding cameras and technology, and so little by little, they negated bank robberies enough to where you have to be super slick to rob a bank now, right? And basically, cybersecurity is you don't have to be that super slick yet. It is there's a lot of mom and pops. There's a lot of small businesses. There's a lot of medium businesses and even big businesses that are still vulnerable. And the problem is this that technology, software, hardware, and all that stuff is constantly changing. It's constantly changing, getting better and better, or worse and worse. And there's constantly vulnerabilities. So it's just going to get worse if there's not. And see, that's why I like my channel, because my channel, it's either going to create heroes or villains, right? And it's going to either create people but here's the thing. I want my channel to create people that are going to protect the world, right? And they're going to be doing ethical hacking and come up with ideas, heroes, right? But that's sometimes people want to do bad things. But should we stop trying to learn and teach this stuff because of that? That makes no sense, right? Then you'll never create the heroes, and in doubt there will always be villains, right? So anyways, we can come back to this. And I don't make the statement lightly. Events in recent years seem to reaffirm this statement in every morning's headlines. So he's basically going to go through here. We already clicked on this, Hackers Arise. And, if you want to read that, you can pause it and read it. What is this book? In the first set of chapters, you'll get comfortable with the fundamentals of Linux. Chapter 1, you'll get used to the file system and terminals, and it'll give you some basic commands. Chapter 2 shows you how to manipulate text, find, examine, and alter software files. Chapter 3, you'll manage networks. You can scan the networks, find information on connections, and disguise yourself by masking your network and DNS information. Chapter 4 teaches you to add, remove, and update software. Chapter 5, you'll manipulate file directory permissions, control who can access what. You'll also learn some privileges. Chapter 6 teaches you how to manage services, includes starting and stopping processes, allocating resources. Yeah, that's awesome. So he was saying, I think in that interview, David Bomble, YouTube channel, he was saying that he had to train hackers for the government or something. But what was funny is they didn't know Linux. So he had to put together a pamphlet on how to teach him Linux first before he could go any further, right? Because that's what they needed to know. And so that's what gave him the idea for this book. So I mean, it's actually, it's kind of like a story I remember. So I can tell you a quick little story. So when I was doing martial arts, okay, me and my son were doing it together, and we were learning the swords. And so this is when Star Wars came out, right? So we were all standing there, and We got bored and we're playing with each other. We're pretending that we were Jedi. We're pretending. We're like hitting each other, and we were having fun. And then the master goes, "Hey!" And we just stood up and we were like, "Oh man!" And he goes, "Why would you pretend to be Jedi when you can actually really learn to be Jedi?" And I swear, when he told me that, I went, "Shoot, he's right." So, so then we got back in line and we started practicing the actual sword. And instead of playing, we were practicing the sword and the movements and stuff. And that really hit me in when he said that. And this kind of reminds me of that. It's like, why are you gonna pretend you're a hacker, or are you gonna pretend you know how to do something when you can actually learn how to do it, and you can actually, and it all starts from Linux, right? And so, you know you have to understand, the basics of Linux and all that stuff, and you have to practice it and get it in your bloodstream, and then move on, right? So that's what we're going to do in this video. Okay, with the growth of information in the security field in recent years, has come dramatic growth in the field of ethical hacking, also known as white hack, the good guy hacking. Ethical hacking is a practice of attempting to infiltrate and exploit a system in order to find out its weaknesses and better secure it. I segment the field of ethical hacking into two primary components: penetration testing for legitimate information, security firm, and working for your nation's military or intelligence agency, or for rapidly growing areas and demand is strong. Penetration testing. As organizations become increasingly security conscious and cost security breaches rise exponentially, many large organizations are beginning to contract out security services. One of these security services is penetration testing. A penetration test is essentially a legal commission hack to demonstrate the vulnerability of a firm's network and systems. So you guys should know what penetration testing is. I'm gonna That's just a little taste of what it is. If you don't know, Google that. Military and espionage. Nearly every nation on Earth now engages in cyber espionage and cyber warfare. One only needs to scan the headlines to see cyber activities or chosen methods for spying on and attacking military industrial systems. Hacking plays a crucial part in these military intelligence gathering activities, and with that, and that will only be more true as time goes by. Why hackers use Linux? So, why do hackers use Linux over the other operating systems? Mostly because Linux offers a far higher level of control via a few different methods. Linux is open source. Unlike Windows, Linux is open source, meaning that your source code of operating systems is developed to you. As such, you can change and manipulate it as you please. Linux is a transplant. To hack effectively, you must know and understand your operating system, and to a large extent, the operating systems you are attacking. Linux is totally transparent, meaning we can see and manipulate all of its working parts. Not so with Windows. Microsoft tries hard to make it as difficult as possible to know the inner workings of the operating systems, so you never really know what's going on under the hood. Whereas Linux, you have a spotlight shining directly on each and every component. Linux offers granular control. Linux is granular. That means that you have an almost infinite amount of control over the system. In Windows, you can control only what Microsoft allows you to control. In Linux, everything can be controlled by the terminal at the most minuscule level or the most macro level. In addition, Linux makes scripting in any of the scripting languages simple and effective. Most hacking tools are written for Linux. Over 90% of all the hacking tools are written in Linux. So if with 90% of the tools written in Linux, you can't. How I agree. How can you call yourself a hacker if you don't know Linux, right? Or if you're, I mean, I don't know. So there are exceptions, of course, such as Cain, Enable, and Witto, but those exceptions prove the rule. Even when hacking tools such as Metasploit or AirMap are ported to Windows, not all capabilities transfer from Linux. The future belongings to Linux and Unix. This might seem a radical statement, but I firmly believe that the future of information technology belongs to Linux and Unix systems. Microsoft had its day in the 1980s and 1990s, but its growth is slowly staggering. Since the internet began, Linux and Unix has been the operating system of choice for web servers due to its stability, reliability, and robustness. There you go. Even today, Linux Unix is used 2/3 of the web servers. 2/3. So that means that 1/3 is not Linux based. Okay? Dominates the market. Embedded systems and routers, switches, and other devices almost always use Linux kernels, and the world of virtualization is dominated by Linux, and both VMware and Citrix built on the Linux kernel. Over 80% of mobile devices run Unix or Linux. 80%. You think that's going to change? When is that going to change? It's not going to. I mean, it's going to get less. No, it's going to get more. So if you believe that the future of computing lies in mobile devices such as tablets and phones, it would be hard to argue otherwise. Then the future of Unix and Linux. Microsoft Windows is just 7% of mobile devices in the market. Is that the wagon you want to be hitched to? So Windows, they had a Windows phone. I'm sure they used Windows operating system, and that's about it. Right? I don't know what, Android is Linux. So yeah. Downloading Kali Linux. Before we get started, you need to download and install Kali Linux on your computer. This is the Linux distribution we'll be working with throughout the book. Linux was first developed in blah blah blah. Kali Linux was developed by Offensive Security as hacking operating systems built on distributions of Linux called Debian. There are many distributions of Linux, and Debian is one of the best. You're probably most familiar with Ubuntu. Debian is basically Kali, right? You are probably most familiar with Ubuntu as a popular desktop distribution of Linux. Ubuntu is also built on Debian. Yep. Other distributions include Red Hat, CentOS, Mint, Arc, and SUSE. SUSE? Although although they all share the same Linux kernel, the heart of the operating system that controls the CPU, RAM, and so on, each has its own utilities, applications, and choice of graphical interfaces. For different purposes as a result of each of these distributions, let's skip that. I strongly recommend you use Kali for this book, although you can use other ones. The distributions you will likely have to download and install various tools. In addition, okay, you can download and install Kali from. Okay, I already have this, so we're not going to do that, right? From the home page, hover downloads. So we'll just run through this, right? So you can go here and probably go click on downloads, right? Oh crap. Oh yeah. Okay, so downloads, top of the page, click downloads Kali Linux. Download page, you'll be faced with multiple download choices. It's important to choose the right download along the left side of the table. To determine what type of CPU is in your system, go to control panel, system security system. Yeah, you already know that. If you're running an older computer, 32-bit. So if you want to pause this and read this and follow this, you can. I would, but we're not, because I already have this. Such as Kali ARM architecture. Download ARM images by clicking ARM images. Virtual machines. Virtual machine technology allows you to run multiple operating systems from a piece of hardware, laptop or desktop. This means that you can continue to run the Windows or Mac operating systems from you're familiar with the run virtual kind machine side, virtual machines. Okay, installing VirtualBox. I already have VirtualBox, but click on there, and here's the VirtualBox, right? It's free. That's the box that holds your virtual machines. Click on downloads, install, click next. I already have a VirtualBox. I'm gonna make a separate video downloading VirtualBox. I think I did already. I don't know if I did it. I'll do another one, and also probably virtual machines, VM. Um, or I'm sorry, is it VM virtual machines? Let me see. Uh, 24 minutes. Okay, well, let's see. It's oh, I don't have it on here anymore. Anyways, VM box. Okay, so virtual machine. Um, let's see what this is. Setting up your virtual machine. Now let's get you started with with your virtual machine. VirtualBox should open. If not, it shows you how to open it. Oh, okay, so this is just doing the Linux, and it's Debian. It's the same one I have. 25% of RAM. Already got all that. The default is 8 GB. Yep. All right. So this is just setting up a Kali box. I already have one. Like I said, I'll make another video and I'll run through this. It's going to be a little different. Let me see. Login as root. You will be asked for your password. Enter whatever password you selected for your root user. All right. You're ready to begin your journey. Exciting field of hacking. So I've done all that. So I guess I could have skipped that, but it's okay. By our very nature, here, let me start my stuff. So let me start my Oracle. Yeah, so I've already got an Oracle box set up, right? So we'll power on everything and see. This is all going to be just on our Kali bar. I'm sure we're not going to be trying to hack anything. I'm sure we're just going to be running Linux commands. Fun stuff. So let's start. By our very nature, hackers are doers. We want to touch and play with things. We also want to create and sometimes break things. Yes, we do. See, I like this guy. I think we have the same mentality. He was saying something about mechanics too. He was saying that mechanics were good, could be good hackers because they're used to diagnosing problems and stuff like that. I learned how to fix cars over the phone. So my father in law is a mechanic, and so I would try to fix the car by doing research online and then YouTube videos. And when I got stuck, I would take a picture of where I'm at and what my problem is, send it to him. He would look at it and then call me and tell me what to do, and I would do it. And I would call him and tell him if it worked or if it didn't. And we would do that, and I did that over about 10, 15 years. And that's how I learned how to fix cars. So now I don't really have to call him all the time. I now my sons call me. So it's just a beautiful thing. Anyways, okay, let's see. We also want to. Okay, a few of us want to read long tomes of information technology theory before we can do what we love most, hacking. With that in mind, this chapter is designed to give you some fundamental skills to get you up and running Kelly now. In this chapter, we want to go into one concept in great detail. We'll cover just enough to let you play and explore the operating system of hackers Linux. We'll serve more in-depth discussions later in this chapter. Let's start in our box. Introductory terms and concepts. Ooh. Before we begin our journey through the wonderful world of Linux basics for hackers, I want to introduce a few terms that should clarify some concepts discussed later in this chapter. Binaries. This term refers to files that can be executed. Similar to executables in Windows, binaries generally reside in the user bin or user sbin directory. I've been hacked. Okay, no. Or user sbin directory and include utilities such as ps, cat, ls, and ifconfig. We'll touch on all four of these in this chapter, as well as applications such as the wireless hacking tool Air, uh, Air Crack NG and the intrusion detection system IDS Snort. Case sensitivity. Unlike Windows, the Linux file system is case sensitive. This means that desktop is different from desktop, which is different from desktop. Each of these will represent a different file directory name. Many people coming from Windows environment can find this frustrating. I did when I was first doing it. If you get the error message file directory not found and you're sure the file directory exists, you probably just need to check your case lettering directory. See, and this is important to know right off the back. It took me a minute to figure that out. I was like, "What do you mean? It's right here." So I was so frustrated. This directory, this is the same as a folder on Windows. A directory provides a way of organizing files, usually in a hierarchical manner. God, I hate that word. Hierarchical? Hierarchy? Who cares? Home. Each user has their own slash home directory, and this is generally where files you create will be saved by default. Kali Linux is a distribution of Linux specifically designed for penetration testing. It has hundreds of tools pre-installed, saving you hours it would take to download and install them yourself. You will be using the latest version of Kali at the time of the writing, Kali 2008.2, first released in April 2008. Now, I've got one that's 2023 or 22 or whatever. This is old. This is an old book, so we're gonna have problems, but hopefully not a lot of problems. Root. Like nearly every operating system, Linux has an administrator or super user account designed for use by a trusted person who can do nearly anything on the system. This would include such things as reconfiguring the system, adding users, and changing passwords. In Linux, the account is called root. As a hacker or pen tester, you are often use you will often use the root account to give yourself control over the system. In fact, many hacker tools require that you use the root account. Script. This is a series of commands run in an interpretive environment that converts each line of source code. Many hacking tools are simply scripts. Scripts can be run with the Bash interpreter or any other scripting language. Interpreters such as Python, Perl, or Ruby. Python is currently the most popular interpreter amongst hackers. We do a lot of Python. Shell. This is an environment and interpreter for running commands in Linux. The most widely used shell is Bash, which stands for Born Again or Bjorn. Born Again shell. But other popular shells include the C shell and Z shell. I will be using the Bash shell exclusively in this book. Terminal. This is a command line interface, CLI. With those basics behind us, We will attempt to methodically develop the essential Linux skills you need to become a hacker or pen tester. In this first chapter, I'll walk you through getting started with Kali Linux. A tour of Kali. Once you start Kali, you'll be greeted with a login screen as shown in Figure 1.1. Login using the root account username root and the default password TOOR. If you changed the password earlier, use your new password here. You should now have access to Kali Desktop. We'll quickly look at two of the most basic aspects of the desktop: terminal interface and the file structure. The terminal. The first step is using Kali is to open the terminal, which is the command line interface we'll use in this book. In Kali Linux. What the hell's going on out there? Damn dogs. You'll find the icon for the terminal along the left side of the desktop. Click on this icon to open the terminal. Your new terminal should look as the one I've shown. Now let's open up a terminal. And let's see. Alright, here goes my box. Like I said, I got my own box. So the terminal's right here. There's a new terminal right there. The terminal opens the command line environment known as the shell, which enables you to run commands on the underlying systems and write scripts. Although Linux has many different shell environments, the most popular is the bash shell, which is also the default shell in Kali and many other Linux distributions. To change your password, you can use the command password. I don't want to change my password. The Linux file system. The Linux file system structure is somewhat different from that of Windows. Linux doesn't have a physical drive, such as the C drive. At the base of the file system, but uses a logical file system instead. At the very top of the file system structure is this, which is often referred to as the root of the file system. It's not. As if it were an upside down tree. Figure 1.4 keeps in see Figure 1.4. Keep in mind that this is different from the root user. These terms may seem confusing at first, but they will become easier to differentiate once you get used to Linux. So here's the top of the file structure. The root at the top of the file structure is the whatever line, which is referred to as the root of the file system. Then you got boot, home, proc, dev, sbin, user, binaries. There's the kernel, directories, kernel image, super users home directory, root, etc. is the system configuration files. MNT is a general purpose mount point. System is a kernel. Alright. The root of the file system is at the top of the tree, and the following are the most important subdirectories. /root, the home directory of all the powerful root users. Where's that /root right here? /etc generally contains the Linux configuration files that control when and how programs start up. It's good to know. /home, the user's home directory. There's that one right there. /mint, MNT, where other file systems are attached or mounted to the file system. MNT. slash media, where CDs and USBs are usually attached or mounted to the file system. Slash bin, where the application binaries, the equivalent executables in Windows or applications in Mac OS reside. So bin is like the yeah where your application goes. Binaries. Lib, where you'll find libraries, shared programs that are similar to Windows DLL. We'll spend more time with these key directories throughout the book. Understanding these first level directories is important to navigate through the file system from the command line. It's also important to know before you start that you should not log in as root when performing routine tasks, because anyone who hacks your system, yes, hackers sometimes get hacked, when you're logged in as root could immediately gain root privileges and thus own your system. Log in as a regular user when starting regular applications, browsing the web, running tools like Wireshark, and so on. For this practice, you'll do in this book, staying logged in as root should be fine. Basic commands in Linux. To begin, let's look at some basic commands that will help you get up and running in Linux. Find yourself with pwd. Unlike when you're working with a graphical user interface GUI environments like Windows or macOS, the command line in Linux does not always make it apparent which directory you're presently in. To navigate to a new directory, you usually need to know where you are currently. The present working directory, or print working directory, command pwd returns your location with the directory structure. Enter pwd in your terminal to see where you are. Can pwd root. Alright, let's see where we're at. This is going to be pretty basic, but it's fun. pwd. I'm in home, Cali. It told me where I was at. Isn't that neat? Oh, wrong one. Alright. In this case, Linux returned root, telling me I'm in the root users directory. Because you logged in as root when you started Linux, you should be in the root directory too, which is one level below the top of the file system structure. Now, we didn't log in as root. If you're in another directory, pwd will return that directory name instead. Checking your login with who am I. In Linux, the one all-powerful super user or system administrator is named root, and it has all the system privileges needed to add users, change passwords, change privileges, and so on. Obviously, you don't want just anyone to have ability to do all these changes. You want someone who can be trusted and have proper knowledge of the operating system. As a hacker, you usually need to have all these privileges to run the program and commands you need. Many hacker tools won't work unless you have root privileges. So you'll want to log in as root. If you've already forgotten whether you're logged in as root or another user, you can use the who am I command to see which user you're logged in as. Who am I? If I had logged in as another user, such as my personal account, who am I will return the username instead. OTW. So mine is going to return, I'm not logged in as root, which is fine. I can do it. Cali, because I'm in the Cali home, right? But if I go to my root, which I could go here, it'll tell me root. So go here. That's why it asks that. Say who am I? I'm root. See? I'm root now. Alright. Navigate the Linux file system. Navigating the file system from terminal is an essential Linux skill. To get everything done, you need to be able to move around to find application files and directories located in other directories. In a GUI-based system, you can visually see the directories, but when you're using the command line interface, the structure is entirely text-based, and navigating the file system means using some commands. This is the hardest thing people have to get used to, and I'm still not used to it. Changing directories with a CD. To change directories from the terminal, use the change directory command, cd. For example, here's how to change to the etc directory used to store configuration files. cd etc. Let's see what happens when I do that. If I'm not logged in. Now I'm in etc, and you got to put that little slash. Remember? Now it changed to Kali dash slash etc because I'm in that directory now. That's how you read that, okay? The prompt changes to root at Kali etc. We're not root. We're just at Kali etc, indicating that we're in the etc directory. We can confirm this by entering pwd. So what we can do is we can do this. Oh. Here we go. So now it says root Kali etc. Where am I? etc. Who am I? Root. Okay, now we're following the book. To move one level up in the file structure towards the root of the file structure, or the slash, backslash, or forward slash, we use a CD followed by double dots, as shown here. CD. So now we're going backwards, right? So if you want to go backwards to the last directory, what the fudge? We're gonna press CD, right? Dot dot. And we're back to the slash, which is what? Root? Isn't that what he just said? This moves us up one level from etc to the root directory, but you can move up as many levels as you need. Just use the same number of double dot pairs as the number of levels you want to move. You would use dot dot to move up one level. You would use dot dot slash dot dot to move up 2 levels. You would use dot dot slash forward slash dot dot forward slash dot dot to move up 3 levels, and so on. For example, to move up 2 levels, enter CD followed by 2 sets of double dots with forward slashes in between. Okay. You can also move up to the root level in the file structure from anywhere, entering CD slash, where the forward slash represents the root of the file system. So let's do that. Let's do that. So CD dot dot slash dot dot. Where'd that move me? Because I'm going backwards. So let's go. I'm going to see what's in here. Oh. Let's just do the. What did he say? What, hold on. Oh, CD dot dot slash forward slash dot dot. And move me up to the root. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see what else we got. Listing the contents of a directory with ls. To see the contents of a directory, the files and subdirectories, we can use the ls command. This is very similar to the directory command in Windows, and I already did that. Then it showed me everything. So we can do. So that's what this command was. Typed in ls, and it gave me all the directories in that etc directory. Okay. This command lists both the files and directories contained in that directory. You can also use this command to on any particular directory, not just the one you are currently in, by listing the directory name after the command. For example, ls/etc shows what's in the etc directory. To get more information about the files and directories, such as their permissions, owner size, and when they were last modified, you can add the -1 switch after ls. The 1 stands for long. Oh, -l. 1, what the heck? Stands for long. This is often referred to as long listing. Let's try it here. ls -1. So I think that he's back in the, yeah, -l. I don't know why I said 1. And that tells me there whether you can write, edit, all this stuff right here means something that's going to tell us here in a minute. That gives us our permissions on each file directory in there. Oh, looks like that. As you can see, ls-l provides us with significantly more information such as whether an object is a file or directory, the number of links, the owner, the group, the size, when it was created or modified, and its name. I typically add the -l switch whenever doing and listening in Linux. But to each their own. We'll talk more about the ls-l in chapter 5. Alright, some files in Linux are hidden and won't be revealed by a simple ls or lsl command. To show hidden files, add lowercase -a switch like so. ls -1 LA. ls -ls. So I'm just going to press up. Add an A. Show all of them. Showed some hidden ones, huh? I think that works too. Huh. If you aren't seeing files you expect to see, it's worth trying ls with the A flag when using multiple flags. You can combine them into one. We've done here with -LA instead of -L-A. That's what I did. So you can combine them. Okay, they both work. Getting help. Nearly every command application or utility has a dedicated help file. In Linux, that provides guidance for its use. For instance, if I needed help using the best wireless cracking tool, aircrackng, I could simply type in aircrackng command followed by the help command. So, I mean, this book is awesome because sometimes I forget how to do that. time is this? Yeah. So if you need help, you need the commands. I hope this goes over how to read this help, because sometimes I have problems reading the help. That'd be awesome. So yeah, so force attack. This is giving us the aircrack directions on how to use aircrack. Note the double dash here. The convention in Linux is to use a double dash before word options, such as help, and single dash before single letter options, such as dash H. When you enter this command, you should see a short description of tools and guidance on how to use it. In some cases, you can use either dash H or dash question mark. See, those are the ones I get confused. To get help to get to the help file. For instance, if I need help using the hacker's best port scanning tool, mmap, I would enter the following. So why doesn't it? Let's see. Why can't I do? Why can't I do this? I can do that. But why does it say to use the other one? And it gives me the same thing. Okay. Why did it say to use that? Unfortunately, although many applications support all three options, okay, that's why. There is no guarantee the application you use it will, so one option doesn't work, try the other. There you go. See, and I love books that like solve your problems, because I was having problems trying to get help on an application. I was using dash dash help. I was using help dash 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 H. It might have been dash question mark. So it would have been the one that I was trying to find. It was probably dash question mark, because I did both of these. Nothing happened. So that's awesome. So now I'll try that one. Dash question mark. See, I didn't know about that one. I mean, I did, but must have forgot or something. I don't know. Been a while. See, that's why you gotta just keep doing this and doing this and doing this. Referencing manual pages with man. In addition to help switch, most commands and applications have a manual man page with more information, such as a description and synopsis of the command or application. You can view a man page by simply typing man before the command, utility, or application. To see the man page for air cracking NG, for example, you should enter the following. Let's do man cracking NG. So I'm going to press up. It's going to give me that. And we want to put man. Remember, everything is case sensitive. What did I do? What did I do wrong? Oh man, we got to do it before. There's the man page. Manual page. Line 1. Press H for help or Q to quit. Oh man, this is awesome. Shows you how to use it. Nice. Man, that's cool. This opens the manual for air cracking NG, provides you with more detailed information than the help screen. You can scroll through this manual file using the enter key, or you can scroll up and down using the PGDN and PG up keys. Respectively, you can use the arrow keys to exit some big enter queue. You'll return to the command prompt. Finding stuff. Until you become familiar with Linux, it can be frustrating to find your way around, but knowledge of a few basic commands and techniques will go a long way towards making the command line much friendlier. The following commands help you locate things from the terminal. Searching with locate. Probably the easiest command to use is locate, followed by a keyword denoting what it is you want to find. This command will go through your entire file system and locate every occurrence of that word. To look for air cracking, for example, enter in the following. He must love air cracking tool. I already can tell. So locate air crack ng. I found it. Found every instance of air crack ng in there. It's in the bin. We already know. That's where the applications are included. User include, which is user files. I think. Yeah, found every instance. The locate command is not perfect, however, sometimes the results of locate can be overwhelming, giving you too much information. Also, locate uses a database is usually only updated once a day. So if you just created a file a few minutes ago, a few hours ago, it might not appear in this list until the next day. It's worth knowing the disadvantages of these basic commands so you can better decide when to use them and when not. That's good to know. Finding binaries with whereas and binaries applications, right? If you're looking for a binary file, you can use the whereas command to locate it. The command returns not only the location of the binary, but also the source and main page if they're available. Man page, manual page if they're available. Here's an example. Where is air cracking ng? Let's do it. Let's do it. Air cracking G is in the user bin. Air cracking user include air cracking user share man air cracking blah blah. That's where it's at. In this case, whereas return just air cracking binaries and man page. Rather than every occurrence of the word air cracking, much more efficient and illuminated, don't you think? Yes. How many more we got in this chapter? We might have to. It's been a long time. We might have to do this in half. We might have to call it a day on this one, and then continue back on this in the next video. So, let me see. We learned a lot, and we're gonna have to come back and finish this up. But I can tell this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of learning about Linux and how it works and where to find things and all kinds of stuff you ain't never heard of. So that was Hack the File, and I hope you had fun. See you next time on the next episode.